Okay, let's go live. James Maduke speaking. Creating an online course. Well, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about 3 traps that could waste your time, your money, your energy. And I'm breaking down the top 3 mistakes for course creators that I have seen over the last 25 years of creating online courses. And more importantly, in the last couple years with all of the changes on YouTube and with all of these AI tools. So these are mistakes that online creators can make, and or video content creators, anyone who's trying to basically teach something that they really know and love. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to go through these 3 traps that you can run into. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how I'm handling these particular traps. And then I'm going to share 3 smaller traps you may want to avoid as well. So again, I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. If there is more information that you want, of course, that's here on the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe, or visit trainingsites.io and join the community free. So what is this all about? The very, very first trap that you're going to run into if you're creating an online course, or if you're thinking about an online course, is the standalone course drain. So that's number 1. Most people, when they get started, they think that they need to sell an online course. You don't need to sell an online course. You need to sell a course that is part of a bigger system. And in fact, what you're actually selling is a process or steps in a series to a transformation or outcome. And it's a major transitional topic. So it's not a niche, you're basically selling a topic. And whenever you hear the word create an online course, it should be create an online courses. So the first thing I want you to do is just think about it is, how many courses do you have? How many of those courses or ideas for courses, how big are they? Are they courses that have 10 lessons or 15 lessons, or that take a week to finish or 2 weeks to finish? How big are they? Are they mini courses or micro courses, and how are they organized? These are all things you're going to run into when you get started on this, and thinking that you're going to have one simple course and everything's going to turn out for you is absolutely not true, and you should avoid just that idea as you're doing it. You're not in the course business, you're in the education business. So get rid of that one course idea. The other one you should be aware of is number 2. Number 2 is all about the overflowing course drain. Avoid the overflowing course drain at all. And this is the one where you get into a course or an idea for a course and you think, man, this is great. I got this idea for a course. I've identified a problem. My clients or my customers have asked me about it. They're saying, hey, how do you do this? Or I really want to be able to do that. Can you help me? So you go, hey, I'm going to put a course together. And you start putting your course together, and you're using AI tools, you're generating content, you're looking at your research, you got case studies, you got all these exercises, quizzes, everything you think would be great in the course, and you start building it out. And before you know it, if you like something and are passionate about it, you have a course that has 78 lessons for 14 hours of content, and 6,000 templates and 9,000 questions in a quiz, and links to 1,000 resources. So that overflowing course is the biggest problem that I run into for people who are course creators, because you're so excited about something and you want to teach everything. It can be an absolutely huge, huge problem. So this problem, the other thing of this is that if you are focusing on a single course and you're circling around the overflowing course drain, what happens is you never get the course completed. Because first of all, you see all 98 lessons that you think you have to have included. So you may start some of it, but you go, oh man, I got 60 lessons left, or I got 400 of these I got to make, and 50 of those. And a lot of times what happens is you never get finished that course because you're overwhelmed just by the amount of content that you want to put into the course. So that overflow one is really, really, really dangerous. And remember, the one tip that I can think of for this is you have to remember that the course is not for you, and it's not answering your questions. The course is for someone who doesn't know, and you're answering their questions. So that huge, overwhelming course, be very, very, very careful. And one little side note to this is that in big, overwhelming courses and one single course, is the students don't have a sense of accomplishment, right? They want to be in a position where they know they've started something and they finished something, okay? So number 3, the overproduce drain. This is another one that I see course creators get into. And when I started online selling courses, it was an absolute huge problem for me personally. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that you think when you're creating a course, whether it be to consumers and or other businesses, most people assume that it is a Hollywood production, that it's got all sorts of introductions and all of this stuff about, tips and tails, and it's got links to, different sections, and it's got titles going in all over where, and cuts and B-roll, so there's other people that aren't your talking head or your screen deck in it. And it takes an awful lot of time putting this all together. And a lot of people, when they create their first course, not only is it absolutely one course, it's huge, and they think it's got to be super perfect and complete and fantastic and edited even before they go to sell it. So that overproduced drain is causing big problems because most people find that when it's overproduced, they remove themselves. And it's all about the production of the content, not the actual content that's there. And then secondly, the launch expectations that happen. Because if you spend a whole bunch of money editing and putting together all of this course material, and then you launch it and it doesn't get the results that you thought it would, you end up going, oh my God, I just spent all this money and all this time creating one course, a huge course, Hollywood produced, and I expected it to earn me a whole bunch of money. It doesn't happen. So you have to be really, really careful with that. So we got these 3 big problems to think about, right? So here's the reason for all of this. We've got these 3 problems. Here's the reason for it. And then I'm going to share why I actually am doing things a bit differently than everyone else. And it's based on this. The real reason that those 3 drains that you might find yourself circling around is because of the YouTubification of online courses. And what do I mean by this? Just think about the way that you are being trained on YouTube compared to what it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when selling an online course was a business model. When you create a course right now, a lot of people will talk about the word niche, and you create a course for a niche. And that niche, I think, is wrong. You should be creating a course for a topic. And how does that come about? Well, because if you are thinking about or doing something when you are looking right now, not in a course, but you're searching on YouTube, what usually happens? They will search for an answer to a question when they're first starting out, and they may find 1 or 2 answers to a specific niche. But the thing that happens on YouTube is as soon as they search for that niche, for the specific question, what happens is they get 1,000 surrounding topics or questions answered that support the niche. So YouTube has taught us, don't create niche courses, create topic courses. We have to create a wide-ranging array of answers to specific questions, not in a niche, but in all of the topics that are in and around that. Okay, so the results are presented to you in an unstructured fashion. So YouTube, it's all unstructured, right? You pick one, there's a binge of stuff that kind of goes off or answers that one question or variations of it, and then there's some other variations that someone introduces that you didn't think, and it's that non-linear kind of learning that happens, and that happens when you're creating courses. If you're creating big, overproduced courses that spend a whole bunch of time and money, you're going to get in some big trouble moving forward with all of the YouTube content that is available in that other format. The other thing is the content that you present in a course may not be needed. So the segments or the pieces of your course have to be easily accessible and smaller in chunk sizes. And that's where mini courses and micro courses are coming in, because you can't sell a traditional course anymore. People will not finish it and they'll have trouble with it. And more importantly, it's an absolute hassle trying to organize on your campus or in your community site. And the thing with these big courses that are overproduced, the other thing that happens, it's really, really, really a problem right now, is your course is out of date by the time it actually gets published. I'll give you an example. Personally, what happens is if I created a course on how to do AI prompts for creating online courses, and I did that course 4 months ago, 3 months ago, Gemini 2.0 came out that changes the way that AI gets used over the next 3 months. If I had spent an entire course that was 4 hours long with 50 different lessons on how to use AI tools for creating online courses, that new announcement that came out now is going to change all 40 or 50 lessons. So doing smaller chunks of specific answers and multiple courses is far more effective, and that's what YouTube has done for us. So out of date, there may not be needed anymore. If it's a big long piece, you may not need it. And again, you have to have a topic answer, not a course answer. So you're going, okay, YouTube, all these small check bits and different little pieces, people are managing or putting them together again. How do you get around that, or how do you fix it? Here's what I'm doing personally, and it's been working well. And all I'm saying is, hey, think about this, and is it something that I can use, or the people that I'm trying to help, do they relate to this, or are they doing this? So here's the first one. When you are creating or thinking about creating a course, or your first course, or even your second course, what I do is I actually create a 31, 10, 25 map. Now I've done a whole bunch of videos on this as well, and what it is, it's taken from SEO and a topical authority map. If you just do a search on topical authority maps, you'll see a bunch of videos, and really it was about finding keywords and variations of keywords, and then being able to pick those variations as the area where you focused your search engine optimization on. So that was called a topic authority map. I think of it more as a topical course map. And what I mean by that is, instead of picking one niche for your course, understand the broader topic, and from there, what you're going to do is you're going to pick out a number of categories, like a hub and a spoke, okay? And you're going to have individual categories, or think of them as niches, but are all connected to a single topic. Classic example of that is one that I used is for my pickleball site. Pickleball, if you go and figure out, oh, I'm going to do pickleball coaching, I'm going to do how to play pickleball. As soon as you focus on how to play pickleball, all of a sudden a world of opportunities in the pickleball topic open to you. What kind of equipment should I use? Can I do a mini course or micro course on equipment? What kind of injuries do I have? What are some strategies for doubles or singles play? What are some things for clothing? What are things for vacations? All of a sudden, a world opens up to you if you do that topical course map, the 31, 10, 25. You're going to get a listing of all of the different categories and niches that support that topic. So that's what I'm doing on these. If you go and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have one course, I'm going to suggest that you're going to have hundreds of courses, or mini courses, or micro courses, and they'll fit well or will work well as long as you're focusing on a single topic, okay? So that's the first thing that I'm doing. The second thing is I'm not putting them all as courses. And I struggled with this, and I have another video on this, but if you go and you look at the softwares as a service, so I'm talking about things like Kajabi or Teachable, those kind of places, School, any of the ones that are popular right now, Circle, if you look, they have a place for a course and a place for a community. And if you're thinking about, oh, I've got one course and I want to have a community that supports the course, yeah, that might work. If I have 2 or 3 courses, that might work. But if you have multiple courses in multiple categories of multiple sizes, you have to have a way to organize it. So what's happening here for me is I am creating the hub as the main course or program. I'm not going to call it a course, it's a program, and the program is the big picture. What I'm doing is I'm giving away free the introduction to the big picture, but the meat of the big picture is the program that is structured as a course. Because I want people to understand the steps, and in my case I have 10 steps, I want people to understand those steps in order to achieve the actual outcome that I'm promising them. So if people want to learn how to start, build, and grow an education business, it's not about courses. There's actually 10 steps there. And again, if you haven't gone to the trainingsites.io/map or /join to join the community and take that course, please do, and you'll learn about those 10 particular categories. So I'm doing little tiny courses, or little tiny mini or micro courses or tutorials or videos, and one main program. And the way I'm managing it in my actual training site is I have a video library that I'm building out of videos that answer one or two specific questions who are not structured as a course. They are grouped by categories because they answer specific questions, and they're YouTubified content. I also have the area that is a traditional course, but they are separate. So think of it as mini and micro courses and programs, and then videos in the other one. And I think as we get going with this and we're creating content, especially if you do what I'm doing is marketing everything and using YouTube, the only thing I do marketing, you're going to have a lot of content created, and you're going to have to find a way to organize it that people will understand because they've been watching all of this stuff on YouTube. The other thing is when you think of courses or programs, even programs, if you have one big program, not a course, but a big program, it's going to have to be a blended learning or a cohort program. And if you're not familiar with terms, what it means is that you have workshops, live workshops with the instructor, with the trainer, and you supplement it with video course content. It's about you teaching now, not necessarily about take my course by yourself on your own. You want to be able to guide people through that process with a learning path and the pieces that make sense because you've done what you're teaching them to do, and you know the steps are going to come in that order, and you have a really good idea of all of the questions that fit in them. So blended learning is really that combination of number 1 and 2. More courses, and then having them in different kinds of pieces. Now, here's the third one, and I want you to just wrap your head around this, is I watch a bunch of video tutorials from other people that I subscribe to on a regular basis, and one of the things you'll hear people talk about is they do things like batch edits, where they'll try and do 4 or 5 videos on a day or 2 days. They'll script it all, they'll try and film it on, they'll get it to an editor, and then they'll end up publishing it in, a week later or 2 weeks later. And they try and schedule stuff out like this. And normally what happens for people who are doing that kind of videos is that it is produced so that they have things called B-roll, where you're bringing other video in that complements or kind of extends the topic that you may be just talking about. They may have sound effects, they may have labels and stuff going across it, but it's absolutely produced content, and it takes time and it takes money. Now, notice that I talked with YouTube and I talked about that AI example. How quickly does stuff change in that one space? And of all the spaces that I personally am involved in, everything is changing quickly. So I don't do any produced video. All of the videos that I'm producing are of 2 types. This one today is a live stream video with 0 edits. So what I mean, for example, is I'm going off of talking points that I put in my mind map, and all I'm doing is I am actually going live to the camera, and I use a little piece of software called Ecamm and a little deck to switch between screens that I set up. And we have some good videos coming on how to use that, but everything is live, or as live as I can do it, and there are no edits other than what is done live during the session. Now, there's some huge benefits to that, and there's some cost to that. The first benefit is, if something comes out today, I can do a video today. I can do a live video and talk about something I'm already experienced of and I'm learning about, and share what it is. and I have an authentic connection because this is absolutely live. This is me. This is my studio. I'm talking just off of my talking points. Now there's no edits, which means it isn't overly fancy, but hopefully I have the time before my live session, if it's appropriate, to say, here's a screen that you should look, or I'm going to show something from a website. So I try and do only live sessions, and even if I do record it, I only use live edits. So this gives absolute speed and agility over and above doing produced videos. That's the way that I'm doing it. It allows it to be super flexible, what's relevant today and the next little while, and more importantly, it's updatable. Because if something happens that changes it and puts it out of context in some big course I've recorded, I'm now in a position where I can go and quickly take a piece and replace the one that's done just by basically updating the live stream or doing a zero edit one to take things happen. So we got 3 problems. We've got the standalone course drain. Think about that. We've got the overflowing course drain, circling around, don't get sucked into it, and the overproduced drain. So YouTubification, those 3 big drains, and then kind of the ways that I'm thinking about it. Lots and lots and lots of videos, tons of videos. Big library, separate from courses or programs or blended learning. And then the third thing is doing live streams and live edits on the fly as you get going. So if you find yourself kind of thinking around these kind of things, just think about which of those drains am I circling around, and then decide, is this something I need to fix? Is it something I'm okay with? Again, this is the way I'm doing it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm just suggesting you might want to consider it, because the YouTubification is not going to be less. There's going to be a lot more. Actually, I should go. It's not going to be less. There's going to be more of it happening the longer we get going, and also the speed at which stuff is changing. Okay? And which ones, if you're in there and you're trying to get help on that, what I'd like you to do, of course, is visit trainingsites.io/join. Ask some questions, find out about the process we have in place, and I'd love to help you out playing around with that. Now, I'm going to leave with 3 kind of, 3 other drains, smaller drains that I'll talk about in a different session in one of the next sessions, but these are like your bonus drains to avoid. And here's the first one, over-planning. I find myself is that when I create a course or an outline for a course, what happens is not only is there too much, but I plan it and don't start it. And when you plan and don't start, you come back and revisit what you did. And what happens is you replan it. So try and make sure that if you get something there, that you stick to it and not try and refix it right away. It's like get it done, like do one and then get it done, get started. Okay? So if you're over planning and never launching, that's a drain to avoid as best you can. Number 2, instructors and people who love training, a lot of times we focus on the content and we go, man, I got a great course. I haven't told anyone about it, but I have a really great course. There's lots of great content. You have to market your courses. You have to market, and you need a system in place to be able to do that, hopefully as automatic as you can with some neat automation tools like we have in the My Small Biz map, or in the map that we teach, the campus map. So you're going to have to market and be comfortable with that and find a way that works for you. And that's one of the things that we use in the audience, member, student triangle that we talk about. So focusing on content, not marketing, over planning, never launching. And then the third one is all about your campus and your community. Having a course, having a community, but without having a way to actually engage with people, whether that be a live stream or a Zoom call, or more importantly, gamification and or prompted community management, that's not going to work for you. So you've got these drains flowing around and it's very easy to get sucked into them. You're going to have to get some kind of plan or some kind of step put together so you're able to start, build, and grow your education business. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io/join or trainingsites.io directly. Come and join us, join the community. It's free. And more importantly, subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay up to date on all of the videos that I do live, usually one a day. Take care and expect the best.